You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
Okay, Bill, we'll start. Hi, everybody. So I guess we'll open the meeting officially. It's 4:30. This is going to be a public meeting on the West Swanzey Pump Station Design Development. Did I say that right, Terry? Right? Okay. Maybe we should start off with just a quick introduction so everybody knows each other. Well, this is the select board here.
Jay Ward.
Bill Welker.
Jimmy Tempesta.
Mark LaBelle.
And we have Sue over here as the minute taker. Does a fine job. And who do we have here?
Terry Damaris with Underwood Engineers.
Yep.
Ryan Hudock with Underwood Engineers.
And Sarah Richard with New Hampshire DES.
And you guys are... Okay. All right. So we'll give you the floor there, Terry, and you can talk a little about what's going on with the engineering part of this. Thank you.
Great. We appreciate it. Looking forward to this project. It's a carry-on from the wastewater treatment facility planning study, which was completed in May of 2026. Earlier this year, you might remember that was a DES-funded planning study that looked at kind of the condition of your existing wastewater treatment facility and whether or not there was benefit to an upgrade of that plant to meet for future permit limits. One of the alternatives that were reviewed were converting that the existing lagoon treatment system into a pump station and redirecting that to ultimately to the city of Keene for treatment. So as a result of that study, we brought our recommendation forward in the May timeframe, or it was a little bit before May, but the result of that was much more cost effective to convert it to a pump station and redirect your flows to Keene. Following on with that, there was some discussion back and forth with the Select Board and the Water and Sewer Committee. Ultimately, agreed with the approach, and I think the Select Board in the June time period recommended moving forward with the pump station approach. So following from that, there was, this project that we have now is to further develop the engineering side of this concept. There were some comments that came out of the study from the state, and they said, hey, there might be some other options here in terms of alignments. Joe had been looking at some different alignments. I think the Select Board had some ideas on different alignments. So one of the parts of this particular effort is really to look at those other alternatives. And what you get from those is essentially, is there a lesser cost approach, or is there a better approach? So we'll talk about those alignments this evening. Separately to the engineering side, the town submitted for a pre-application to the Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund. So we refer to that a lot of times as CWSRF. And the state, once all those applications are received, identifies and shortlists projects that will potentially receive funding. That happened in July, and this project was on the list for a little over $1.6 million. So that is not the total cost of the project. The project cost as a whole was over $19 million. That $1.6 million would cover the design phase of the work. So that happened, or is ongoing, I should say. They submit an initial intended or project priority list that goes through a public process, and then it gets finalized. And
It is final now.
it is final.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. So that is final, and it is still on the list. So right now, I guess just on this slide, just at the bottom is the meeting tonight to kind of kick this off, at least at this level, get some input, and run through the proposed alignments and what we have to date.
If I could just add to that too, just to refresh your memory, that the town had some ideas about the different alignments, and the reason why we're looking at several more of them is because they're requirements that would potentially eliminate some funding if we didn't pursue other cost-effective options. So that's why there are 4 options that we are looking at, and it's not narrowed down to less.
As far as the scope of work for this particular contract, so we refer to as design development. It's kind of a middle ground between the concepts that we looked at, and then we're gonna look at these additional concepts and then we're going to develop the recommended concept further. So you get somewhere between a conceptual design and a preliminary design in this effort, and as Joe mentioned, it's critical to the funding side of things as well. So I won't go through the 4 different options in detail now. Ryan's going to actually walk through those in schematic format in a moment. But after we go through and identify the specific routes, the conditions associated with those routes, you know, the alignment, the different infrastructure that we have to put in place, whether there's more than one pump station or not, areas where you might have to directionally drill to go underneath rivers, areas where there might be rock, you know, we have to factor all those items into the proposed costs, the capital costs, and we're going to essentially develop a comparative cost that includes capital, operation and maintenance, and then a full life cycle cost. So it allows you to have a nice comparative estimate with these 4 different concepts. We'll carry on the conversations with Keene. You might recall the option that was presented in the planning study, discharge to the Keene collection system up by Market Basket on Route 10. The section from that point out to 101 had to be, based on our conversations at that time, had to be upgraded. So there was a significant cost included in there for that effort. You'll see in the proposed alignments, some of those, we have 2 that go in that direction, the other 2 go a different direction, different complexities. But all those will be factored in. But regardless, we'll carry on the conversations with the city just to confirm capacity needs. And then at the end of this first set, we'll have a recommended conveyance route, which will get further developed into more of a, closer to a preliminary design level for the recommended version. So in that preliminary design kind of look of the recommended version, we're going to be looking at things like the high and low points, because you need certain infrastructure for a sewer force main at those points. We'll be looking at how we construct this in a way that allows the hydraulics to work for the pump station. This is a very long force main, so there's going to be a lot of consideration for trying to stay flat underneath lower high points that you can avoid, you know, so deeper excavation along different points. As I mentioned, there's a couple alignments that have river crossings, so it's going to require likely directional drilling and some infrastructure on either side of it. Most of these routes have different types of gravity collection system within it, so you're transitioning between force main, which is pressure pipe from the pump, to a gravity, back to a force main. And that can present some pros and cons, because generally you can connect to those areas of gravity, so there might be some benefits to that. Odor control will be a consideration and a cost that we look at for this alignment. And then there may be other things that we don't yet know that we'll have to consider and can't necessarily identify at this time. And then in addition, so that a lot of that focus that I've talked about to date is all about the force main routing from the pump station up, but we still have to look at the pump station. So in this phase, this preliminary design development phase, we'll advance the work at the treatment plant, which would be the conversion to the pump station. You know, we'll be talking about how we deal with rags and control of those types of things up front, as well as the pump station layout itself, and then how to accommodate the infrastructure for the surge protection for that type of system. So that will get incorporated into this version. Next slide, please. And then we have some other components to this scope of work. The second one is, or task 2 rather, is some subsurface geotechnical work to, if we know that there are areas that might have rock, you know, that is something that will start to twist cost, you know, will modify the cost dramatically. So we want to be able to identify that. So we do have a set aside to bring out a driller if we want to on certain routes to make sure that we are making our best estimate of the cost at the conceptual level. So that's what task 2 is. And lastly, task 3 is just to support the town for any kind of funding assistance moving forward, including the SRF application later on next year. So with that, I'm gonna pass it off to Ryan and ask him to walk through kind of this overview and all the individual routes, and then I'll finish up.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Terry. So what we're looking at here is the overview representing all 4 routes. So we named them Route A, A1, and B and B1. So we kind of broke them up that way. So you can see the A routes are shown in red, the B routes are shown in purple or pink there. So just to get a sense on how they relate to each other, and how the A routes relate and how the B routes relate. And we looked at some conceptual with these conceptual alignments, we utilized LiDAR, which is detailed topographic information, as well as procured, all online, all available information online, such as GIS. So we did it as a desktop analysis. And so as you can see, they all start at the new pump station on Denman-Thompson Highway down there to the south. And we can start with the A routes on the next slide there. So this is option A. This was previously evaluated as part of the wastewater, the overall wastewater plan issued in May of 26. So this was the concept used for that evaluation. And as you can see here, for all 4 of these options, as Terry mentioned, it's somewhat of a mix of pressurized force main and gravity main. So on all of these, the pressurized force main is shown in red, the gravity main is shown in orange. So for the section of red, it starts on the left-hand side at the wastewater treatment facility. The majority of it you'll see is along Route 10. In the very beginning part, as we approach Route 10, there is an existing baseball field, and it looks like there's an easement that would be potentially utilized, to go cross country through there, and then where we meet up with Route 10 on the left-hand side there. So that first stretch of Route 10 moving eastward or northward is generally uphill. There's a high point that's pretty significant. There's 2 high points. The latter one is more significant, and then from there it's a significant downhill, as shown in that orange section. So at the base of that, where at the bottom of that downhill, we'll need an intermediate pump station to get it back up to connect to the existing Keene system there. So that that section of gravity main would potentially allow for it would allow for easier service connections in that general vicinity. And as Terry mentioned earlier, the downstream capacity is also a key consideration in option A, ensuring that the connection point and the downstream sewer infrastructure can accommodate these additional flows, this connection here. So overall, and for the stretch of Route 10, the intent is to stay off the pavement as much as practically possible. And in this case, on Route 10, it seems feasible for a good majority of it, given the right-of-way width. So potentially less pavement work there. And then if we go to the next slide, it's a variation of A. Next one is A1. Oh, yeah.
Just add to that, just to reiterate, so that brown gravity main would allow for collection, so you could essentially add more collection system, Ash Hill, Base Hill, the industrial park, so you can tie into that gravity section of the brown. You obviously can't tie into the force main of the red, but that area would allow for a little build out in that area. And then just the one thing to reiterate, which you discussed, is coming out of the plan, it's not depicted on this map, but we have a right-of-way where the
Yes, yeah.
collection system runs in between Brownfield and the residences. So we would not be going out South Winchester and West Street. The force main would be going directly out to Route 10 between Brownfield, so we wouldn't have to touch the roads in that area. That's not depicted on this.
Where it goes from force to gravity, the first part of it, is there a building needed there to transfer the force to the gravity? I understand there's a pump on the other end, right, to get the force back going, right? But how does it connect from force to gravity? Is there a structure there? Is there going to be no pump house, right? How does that work?
Yeah, just at the end of the force main will be probably an 8 or 10 inch diameter pipe, and then it connects right into a sewer manhole.
And just dumps and then it flows?
Then it flows downhill. Yep.
So there's one pump station down toward the end, right, at the end of the gravity, right? And is there another pump up further? Is there
There's
another pump station?
There's a new pump station at the treatment plant.
Yeah, so do we go
then-
from the treatment to the gravity with nothing?
Yep. So the treatment goes, pumps up to that highest point, so the circle on the furthest right there, then goes into the gravity, will flow downhill, and then there'll be another pump station. And then you have another force main, and then it repeats, goes to the Keene collection system by Market Basket.
Got it.
Joe, just before you go to that one, just wanted to point out, so as you look at this next route, what's important is, see how there's 2 high points there?
Yes.
The one that's closest to on the treatment plant side, in this next version, we're going to go around it. So that's a benefit, possibly. You know, we have to look at some of the hydraulics, but you'll see for the next route that there's some, you know,
So when you say high points,
topography changes.
the cost of it's going to be more costly in the high points because we got to go down deeper with the line, or we have to push harder? Do we have to have pump stations before the high point? What does the high point mean in building this whole thing?
Sure, and
How does it affect us when it goes high point when we're force main, is what I'm trying to get to.
yeah, so with a pump system, the challenge with the high points is it's an area where it collects air, and you have to be able to release the air. So you end up with 2 things, right? So if you have 2 high points and a low point in the middle, you have to have an air release valve at the high point, you have to have a drain at the low point so you can do maintenance on that system. So now, it's not a huge deal, but air relief valves are a maintenance item, and in this particular case, because of the distance of this force main, it becomes a very important maintenance item. Like, you don't want them to fail, because then you have surge issues and things of that nature. So we'd like to avoid high points as best we can. And then the secondary point is a high point will determine your overall hydraulic condition that you have to pump against. So if it's a really high point, that's a bigger deal than if it's a lower high point in terms of elevation relative to the pump station. So, and there is a big difference here between the A routes and the B routes in terms of the high points as a relative elevation.
Those 2 high points are the same elevation?
Those ones are generally about the same, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, good questions. Thanks for clarifying there. So this is, we moved on to option A1. So as you can see, it does a detour around that stretch of Route 10 where that first high point was shown. It goes down Sawyer's Crossing, and then moving to the right is currently a Class 6 road. It was the old Route 10. So we'd be traversing through there for a good portion of that force main, and then when it rejoins Route 10, it follows the same, the same path as option A. Transitions back to the gravity, to the intermediate pump station, and then into the Keene system. So this option, the benefit is the high point is eliminated, and you stay out of Route 10 for longer, so less, less construction, considerations, and that Class 6 road is, a dirt road. Looks like the restoration would be minimal compared to restoring, you know, a DOT right away. And it does add some length. It adds about 1,900, almost 2,000 linear feet. But, you know, it's part of the, you know, weighing the pros and cons of each.
And that goes through the Yale Forest?
Steel Route 10. We have to do.
Yes, it does.
We have to do some research on it because the state tells me that it's more than likely when that road was discontinued, it was given back to the town. And then the question will be if there's record anywhere, the town gave it to Yale Forest or whoever owned that land then. It may not be record of it, but the state tells me that when they did discontinue roads, it goes back to the town. So there needs to be some work on who owns it. And if it is the towns or if Yale Forest owns it, would they be interested in giving us an easement?
Got it.
On the Sawyer Crossing part, how is that where Frog Place is? So would that go down that road and then cut over? How far down does it go? I can't really tell from here. Does it go?
Additional 1,900 feet offline.
I got you.
Approximately.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so those are the 2A options. As you can see, they're very similar to each other. They're largely follow that Route 10 corridor. And then we can move on to the B options here. So B takes a different path out of the treatment plant where the new pump station will be. It goes the opposite way on Denham-Thompson Road and generally follows the Eaton Road corridor for, you know, the first, you know, half of it roughly. This one, you know, as we previously kind of talked about the high and low points, this one has quite a bit of variation with high and low points. They're not as extreme as the A options were. But to maintain, you know, avoid high points, perhaps we need deeper excavation in certain areas. The Eaton Road corridor, you know, is one consideration is the restoration. You know, there it looks like we would be within the paved roadway for a good majority of it. However, there doesn't appear to be too many conflicts necessarily. There are a handful of drainage crossings, particularly in there's two major ones here, which would require directional drill. So they are in the very beginning. It's a pretty significant river crossing along Denham-Thompson Road, right outside of the treatment facility. And then the second one is further down. We'll get to that as we continue on here. It's right after the orange, which represents gravity main. So similar to the A options, where, you know, it pumps uphill to a high point, and then where topography allows, will gravity flow for as long as we can. And kind of the same concept here for B. That orange is a stretch of, you know, downhill where we can gravity flow down to that next crossing there. And again, that gravity flow allows, you know, for connections. And one consideration is it passes, you know, those school zone areas, which potentially will provide a connection benefit to those facilities. And then, yeah, at the crossing there, the second directional drill river crossing, it will need to be pumped back up. So therefore, another intermediate pump station similar to the A options until it keeps, you know, advancing, you know, northeast until it connects to the existing gravity system there in Swanzey on Route 32. It'll connect to there's an upstream manhole there, which is where the red line touches the green line. The green line represents the existing gravity sewer. And so it'll, it'll physically connect there, but the flow will be directed towards the existing Route 32 pump station. And one of the variables of this option is evaluating that Route 32 pump station in terms of capacity for current capacity, future growth capacity, evaluating like current metrics. There's a lot of information, but it needs to be kind of sorted through to make sure it's, this meets the intent of that pump station, of that existing pump station. So this one, there's a lot of considerations. This one is the longest option of the bunch. They're all similar. Option A is about 21,000. A1 was about 23,000. This is about 24,000. So they're similar, but this one's a little bit longer.
When you're
yeah.
talking about maybe having to possibly improve the Route 32 pump station if necessary? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's under evaluation.
Yeah.
It would need to be evaluated.
So when that pump station was designed, there was consideration for some build-out. What we're trying to do is just go back and confirm, is that build-out enough? Was it just for the North Swansea area? Were they considering West Swansea? The group considering West Swansea at that time? Or would it essentially be, if we were to pump West Swansea that way now, would it be consuming the future growth for North Swansea, which would not be how...
Or the area on Eaton Road and 32 there. So both of those would be opened up to possible sewer connections.
Only
the gravity feed area. That's what I'm saying.
correct. Yeah, unless you extend that gravity system past the force main, which it's pretty hard to do that because
Right.
you can get very limited. Usually you go out away from it versus meaning like if you're in a valley or something, you go uphill.
Is that what basically is happening when you connect the red and the green? Because that's green is gravity, right? That's Keene, right?
Well, that's-
So
That's,
we're
north.
forcing to the gravity, right?
That's
To the green.
North Swansea.
That's ours by the fire station,
Yeah, but the green is gravity fed, no, not any pressure, right?
Correct.
Okay,
existing.
yeah.
Yep.
And
This
then,
has a lot more area to connect to that plan now.
And then, so here's the final option, B1. So as you can see, it's similar, the first half is the same as B, follows that Eaton Road corridor. However, here, where that gravity we still have that same high point and transition to gravity, which is shown in the orange. But here we take more of a direct route towards the existing Swanzey treatment facility, Keene. So we cut over, it's called Cedar Street, and then eventually, Causeway Street, and Causeway terminates at the end of that orange line, and then in order to connect it, we would have to directionally drill, it's maybe hard to see, but you kind of see some overhead power. There's overhead power line through there, and that's roughly the start of the directional drill to connect to the treatment facility. One consideration here is evaluating the hydraulics of that gravity line and the connection to the existing treatment facility. Since the existing treatment facility, it's at a higher grade elevation wise than where the gravity line would enter that area. So that we would need to, design a system to have it be pressurized enough to enter that facility. So there's options we're evaluating, such as an inverted siphon type of system, but some type of improvement or another intermediate pump station could still possibly be needed, but it warrants further evaluation there.
And that goes through some wetlands there too, right?
Yes, and the directional drill, the intent is to stay underneath it as much as practically possible, but yeah, will be significant wetlands through there.
Yeah, if I could just add, I don't know, we didn't really describe what the directional drill is. I'm not sure how familiar folks are, but that's a trenchless type technology. So it's going underneath the ground. They have an entrance pit and an exit pit. So it, in the sense of wetlands, it works out great because you don't have to, you may have to do a permit anyways, but you don't actually have impact on the wetland because you're drilling underneath the earth. And you
You're not
start on
going
one
through
side.
you're not going through any aquifer down there, not going through any water, or?
In that particular case, depending on the hydrology, yes, possibly. But, it's all stuff that we have to look at in more detail.
But in terms of the surface area of the wetlands, you're not disturbing it, is what you're
Correct.
saying? Okay.
Did you say power lines too? You drill under even if they're overhead, you drill below the power lines? What did you say about the power lines? I missed that. There's a section here with power lines, overhead lines.
Oh, yeah, I just mentioned them as a visual reference
There's a
point.
right of way there where the power lines run through.
Oh, okay.
So just as a overall schedule here, our contract had some stipulated dates in it. We got the authorization to proceed in June. We're intended to have the majority of this alternative routes analysis done this month. It's probably going to be, it'll be next month. And then we'll work on advancing the recommended route further along, and then have a technical memo. Right now is proposed for the November timeframe. The intent was to be in advance of your needs for funding, which would be your March warrant article. So we want to make sure we gave plenty of time to have the conclusions of this study prior to your development of the warrant article. And then following up from that, if the vote is, affirmative, then we'd be in need of doing a clean water SRF application in April. I would just learn that the deadline is likely May 1, so that May is really not applicable in here. So it'd be the April timeframe of 2027. And then it takes a while to get those loans in place, a couple months by the time it gets approval through governor and council and things of that nature. So you're probably looking at a August, September timeframe to begin any kind of final, design effort after that. I think with that, Joe, unless you have more, we'll open it up to questions. Or Sarah?
Just think as they get further along with the route, the cost is going to be one of the big driving forces, but then we'll have, include the board in further discussions on which way we see beneficial. Like obviously the one that goes by the school has potential for some good connections, but one of the biggest driving forces will be not just the cost of the construction, but which one of these designs is going to be more expensive to operate in the future with all that cost.
I never realized, remember we were talking about just Route 10, but this really opened our eyes to these other routes because there's a lot of benefits on some of these other routes.
Yeah,
And there's benefits to Route 10. I see it all now.
Yeah, and
There's no directional drilling on A, just B, right? Right, just A, just no A, just B.
We are likely going to be forced to directional drill if we have to cross the roadway because it's
Yeah.
DOT. So there may be shorter directional drills, and when we get, we factored that into that original concept, even though they aren't directly shown there, because we got to figure out, which side of the road, and it flops back and forth based on cuts and fills at wherever you see a guardrail is a spot we got to really look at. So there would be some directional drilling.
Explain that a little more. So if you see a guardrail, that means there's a big dip down there and you would have to go too low? I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, so, sorry, the reference to guardrails generally is, DOT wants a nice flat roadway because of their speeds. So wherever you see a guardrail, it's generally because there's a slope on one side.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you lose the area that's off the edge of the road.
Right.
So then you're looking at an option, you're either in the roadway and you're restoring a DOT roadway, which is very costly. They generally want full restoration, so that's a big cost. So we want to try to avoid that. If we are if our proposed alignments on one side, all of a sudden the slope drops off, we can't construct there, that means we want to jump to the other side, we'd have to drill underneath the road, assuming there is another side to go in. Otherwise, you're stuck in the middle of the road. Now you're looking at restoration. So that's
So there
the,
is potential of direct drilling on option A.
yes. Yep.
Short period, a short amount.
Shorter. Unless, as we get further into it, if we decide that there's some value that a longer directional drill makes sense in one particular area, we'll propose that.
Yep,
Wow, that was interesting. Good job.
thank you.
On B, Terry, I've been told that the school did put a line in at the bridge there. Did you determine that there is no line there? In other words, it would alleviate the need to directional drill
Sorry, where is that, Bill?
at the school. We're on 32, option B, with
Okay.
the second directional drill.
I'll have to catch up with Joe to confirm it, but
Are you saying though, there might be a line under there already?
so they've possibly already
There
connected.
could be already a
The
line
high
under
school?
there
The school's not connected.
No, it's not
He's
connected.
saying they may put a line underneath.
when they did it,
Oh,
to be ready for
Okay.
that.
preemptively?
Yes,
Got it.
If that is the case, it'd be interesting to see what type of line it is.
Sure.
And the size.
Is there any public input out there? Does anybody want to ask any questions about that? Okay, none. You do?
Joe. More curiosity.
Hi, Joe.
Is the Eversource right-of-way an option for this path?
I guess anything's an option, but one of the reasons I'm looking at that is the railroad still owns the right-of-way there, and it's very problematic to do construction with the railroad, and then the contaminants that are in the ground from the railroad. So that was one of the reasons we didn't look at that option.
Not the rail trail, but where the Eversource, where their power lines are.
See, they use some of their right-of-way is on the railroad.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Terry,
it.
thank you. Brian, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Sarah, thank you.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So now we're officially still in a meeting,
So-
we just closed the public hearing, right?
Joe and Bud,
Gotcha.
we're about to go into a non-public session for a half hour or so,
We're not gonna answer
so
right now.
we have to ask people to vacate the premises until 5:30.
Conflict that I have on the board, okay?
We're about to go into a non-public session until 5:30. So we're asking people who aren't involved in the non-public session to leave this room and go downstairs and wait. This is not for the public to be part of, okay?
President.
We take 45 seconds and get a motion to accept that class 5 section of Raffle Hollow that was extended? Or do we do it next week?
Yeah, what is the, tell Mark, what do we need to do, the
Do
motion?
we need a motion to Richard Whitney, we authorize him to extend the road 450 feet. He's completed that, I've inspected it, and we just need a motion to accept it as class 5 road, extending it to class 5 road.
Make a motion to accept the Class 5 road on Rabbit Hollow Road.
Second.
Well,
The extension, the extension,
Extension.
450 feet.
450 feet.
Except, I second that.
do you have that, Sue?
So you got, okay, so Mark made the motion, second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Joe, you're all set on that?
You finished grading that?
Yeah.
Great.
That came out great.
Great shape.
Ready to go in the non-public.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
We just can't, don't have to worry about making
I think
a
that's
vote
part
on
of
it.
that packet.
Just do it, don't make a motion to go into non-public.
Goes down to-
I already have one, but
One goes to Sue, I guess, right?
reputation, I'm guessing. Thanks. On the reputation.
It's a negotiation.
Or it could be negotiation, I guess.
I think it would be negotiation.
You're watching a Fact TV presentation of the Town of Swanzey. You're watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. All right. So, Mark,
Make a motion to approve regular minutes for August 11th, August 12th, and August 18th.
Second?
So you had some questions? You want us to hold off?
I found minutes from the 19th that said that they were labeled approved, but I don't see minutes from the meeting that approved them.
I think we approved it in a morning meeting. I'm not sure whether they
well,
made
that
it
isn't in
minutes.
here right now, so why don't we just finish the motion?
Yes, we'll finish this motion and we'll
then
deal with
talk
that.
about it. So you made the motion, Mark?
I seconded it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Make a motion to approve the non-public meeting for August 18th, sessions 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we needed that for the pre-application for Northern Borders Regional. So there was one section of those minutes that we absolutely had to have approved. So we approved them.
And I'm not sure it was me taking the minutes or whether it was Megan or Katie, but somehow it must have not made it in the minutes that got to you.
Yeah, I haven't seen any minutes from, I hadn't seen those but until I went looking. And I didn't see any from the meeting that approved them, so we need that.
So you need the August 21st.
21st for the Friday
Yeah.
morning. Katie,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll get those for you.
Yeah, we'll get them. There's nothing at all from August 24th?
We already did.
Okay.
She just needs to see.
She just needs to see them.
She needs to see the minutes of the
You
night,
got
of
it.
the 21st meeting that approved the 19th.
Yeah.
It falls apart when you leave us like this. See what happens? That's right.
Exactly.
Don't do it again.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Heffernon, could you please step up at the table here tonight with us? How are you tonight?
I'm good, how are you all?
Good. Would you state your name for the record?
Ann Heffernon. So I wanted to give you a quick update about Saturday and the community conversation. So everything's in place. Pilgrim Pines, thank you, has been so wonderful about accommodating us. The food's all set. We will be doing a couple things that I got permission for. We will, at the check-in table, be giving these out for Kevin. And we will have also been allowed to have the Swanzey Gardening Club sit with me so that she can try to hustle volunteers because she's looking for them, I guess, and that just seemed like a good fit. So I'll do a quick introduction, and then the facilitator from New Hampshire Humanities will take over and lead it from there. His part of the meeting is it's 45 minutes to an hour, and it's an interactive thing. I went to Keene last week to see how it worked because they did theirs last week, and it was very interesting. They had a lot of nonprofits there, so ours is going to be completely different because ours will be townspeople, not people looking for interagency interactions. So we have that open discussion, and then we break out into groups, and the intent is for each group to come up with an idea of something that we can do as a town together. And then we come back together and figure out which one is best, and then they give us a grant for $3,000 to accommodate whatever that is. And it could be anything. I'm kind of hopeful it will be something geared towards young parents and kids, but I don't steer the conversation. It's up to the people that are there. And that's pretty much what happens. Kai will be taping it, so we'll have it for the record
Will it be
somewhere.
live or taped? Just taped?
Taped.
Taped, yeah.
And we're going to see, it doesn't look like the grant or the Humanities will cover the cost of Kai doing it, but if that happens, then, and the select board doesn't want to pick up the cost of it, then Ann and I will pay for it. So it's all covered.
Perfect.
Reason for taping it?
Yeah.
Reason for taping it? What is the reason?
Oh, well, we thought it would be something that other people would want to see if they couldn't make it, because it's something that's never really happened here before, and it might be, if it's good, and I think it will be, then other people can look and maybe they'll get psyched about whatever it is that we're going to do.
And several people have told Ann that they can't make it, but they really wish they could. They've got conflicts.
How'd you get it out there for people? How do people know about it?
So it's been on several Facebook pages, and we did an invite from the Swanzey governance page, which our committee has, which has gotten a lot of feedback and response, as has the one I just posted on the Swanzey community page. Also, I took some advice and talked to the SAU people, and they told me that they would consider it if I did it X, so I did exactly what they told me to do, and they did put it in the last blast before school started, which, as Ashley showed me, was great, because there was all this black and white, and then there was our mini full-color poster of what was happening. So Josh Guyon, who's on the governance committee, seemed to think that that was a very good thing. So we had that. I went to the Coffee Connections thing. I went to the last chamber breakfast so I could talk to people, which is how I connected with the garden club. You're whispering.
Danny Mitchell show?
Oh, I was on Danny Mitchell show.
Big time.
Well, I invited Marty Fisk from the library to join me so we could both talk about it, but we were both on the week before last.
He gets a good audience.
He does get a good audience. Yeah, I got some texts afterwards about that it sounded good. Who knows?
Would you like to give the details so people that don't know have a better idea of what, I know you said Pilgrim Pines, but where?
Pilgrim Pines, there'll be signs at the end of each road, east and west, with arrows showing where to go. And the actual event will be in the Camp Squanto building. So it's really nice. It's down on the overlooking the water. It'll start at 10 o'clock. And
On?
I'm sorry?
What was the date? On Saturday?
The 29th, so, August 29th, 10 a.m. till noon. And it should wrap up pretty quickly right after noon, so I mean, it's not a huge time commitment. We do have kids from Interact coming from the high school to entertain kids, and I spoke to it's also recorded by an artist, and it's really cool. I saw the book from the ones that he did last year. He's apparently a well-known, Merrick, I can't remember his last name. He's a well-known artist from New Hampshire. He's kind of a graphic artist. He teaches. But he suggested that I have any kids that show up do a art thing on what community means to them, which is pretty perfect because it pretty much is what their parents will be talking about. So that's what the kids will be doing if they show up.
Very exciting. You put a lot into this. Good for you.
Yeah.
Hey, Ann, can you get some rest after this? Because we have a lot of things coming up. We're going to need your help with the governance committee. You got a lot on your plate this year.
Yeah, we
got big plans for you. So we need you to get some good rest. Okay?
Yeah, we know. We're ready to work on
You do a good job. You
this
help out us.
project.
You are unbelievable help. You have enthusiasm. I love it. Love it.
Good.
And I love that committee that you have. That committee is going to do wonders for us.
Yeah,
And we're going to need them this year.
We're ready to work on Scott's project.
We're going to give you projects, trust me. We're building them up right now. Bill's got a big list in his back pocket.
Oh, dear God, I see a resignation in my future.
You've got a marathon in your future, too, to run, so.
Thank you for the update, and good luck, and
Yeah, I
bye.
hope you can come even if
So
just
this
for a
is,
little while.
this falls on a Saturday?
This Saturday.
This Saturday at 10 o'clock?
Yes.
Till noon?
Yes.
This Saturday?
At Pilgrim Pines, Camp Squanto, there'll be signs to get you there.
Yep.
And thanks for helping me make it happen.
Whoever's listening in tonight, please show, and it'll be fun to do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It will be. Yep.
Thank you.
See y'all.
Thanks, Sam.
Okay, so next on our appointments was Joe DiRusso, but unfortunately Joe had something he had to do, but what I did find out that the two gentlemen down from me has the information that Joe was going to give us, so I'm going to let Jay give us the update of Wilson Ponds.
Joe stopped in last couple days, and we went over what he's doing. He's put another full board in. There are now 6.5 boards in the dam, and the intent is that he will leave it in there till the water level comes up. If the water level gets up too high, he will start taking some boards out. He has a 2-inch board. He thinks he might settle on 5 feet 7 3/4, 5 foot and 3/4 boards instead of 5.5 or 6. But he's going to let the water determine that. And we talked about how that will be, we hope, the main goal right now is to keep the water in the pond as it is replenished by rain. And we'll see how that works. But the other part of what the Wilson Pond update is that tomorrow we have our company coming in doing a survey of the pond for what vegetation, and they'll get back to us with management ideas.
So I'll add a little to that too. So after the meeting, which was on a Wednesday night, the next morning I got up extra early because in that meeting I was told there was a broken fence, there was a broken bench, and there was ruts, right? So I wanted to go out and see how we could help out with that. So I drove out there and I called Mark because I didn't know where the broken bench was, the broken fence was, and I wasn't sure. The ground where people park, I didn't see the ruts, but I guess he meant the ruts along the edge of the water, right?
So what happened is, of course, as you found out, Joe repaired that last year, and the ruts are repaired as well. Now, I'm not sure how much Joe does. There's a man named Richard who comes out to the boat launch a lot. He was there just last Sunday with his with a dependent of his, and they were enjoying the water. They had a little motorized boat they were playing with, and Richard is an older guy who loves the boat launch, and he brings in gravel periodically to fill in the holes on his own. He is offering right now. He's got some financial things going on. He's not quite sure, but he offered last year and again on Sunday. He offered to pay for upgrading those benches that are there, and I'm waiting for him to, actually do that. But he said that each foot of, or each yard there is like half a ton of gravel, and he's going to bring some more in. So Joe's done some, he's done some, but there's no real ruts there right now, and the benches are repaired. It's not.
Well, I sat on them all the way down to see if I'm missing something, a loose board. I wiggled every one. I called Mark, and I asked Mark, and Mark said, well, maybe they must have been fixed.
They were fixed last year.
Then I called Joe, and I asked Joe, who maintains out here? And he says that Angel and Video from the town, they come out, they weed whack, they mow regularly. So
right.
I was trying to help out on how we can keep that. And I said, and I called Julie then, didn't I?
Right.
I woke you up, didn't I?
Yep. He didn't wake me up. Of course, I'm asleep after
But
time.
anyways, because I did understand their point that, people do go there and we need to make it look nice, so I was just trying to.
And thank you, Jimmy, because that was the other part of what I was supposed to report from Joe, was the fact that he'd inspected it and it was still fixed and all that.
Great.
So.
Great. It would be nice if we could upgrade those benches and stuff, so if he does do that, that would be wonderful.
Right. Do you folks have any questions?
What does the water look like right now? Like, is it up? Like,
It's up a little bit.
it's what?
Yeah, it's up a little. Yeah.
What about over at Sue's Cove where she talked about those pilings?
I don't think so, but we don't. Because of a lot of work, I don't go down there.
Yeah.
Go out, only except in the middle, so.
Yeah.
But I can't comment, but I could get back to you, but I don't know.
It's still low there. I kayaked through there the other day. It was pretty low,
Yeah.
but it kind of always is.
Yeah, when I went there, the water was coming over the wood. I mean, the water was coming over. There was water going in there.
We had a little issue. We had a little issue because.
He made the boards higher than he has been.
Yes, and I asked him to go out there because the top board that was in there wasn't flush with the board beneath it. So water was running out between the two boards, and they fixed that. And that is now higher than it has been, and it's there to keep the water in the pond until we get it up a little higher. And so it was not going to run over the boards the way it has left it. It may not ever run over the boards now until we get the pond leveled up to where we like it. So,
Who's we?
Joe.
So did you guys come to get the update on Wilson Pond?
Right.
Because there's people that don't want it that high.
Right,
There's people that want it lower.
At this point,
They never see anybody from Wilson Pond here, and I feel like I have been missing some information that maybe people think I know and I don't, so I just came to hear that, show my face, but I don't have anything.
thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Lisa.
Vicky Scalero, sorry, Lisa, Ryan.
Do you have anything else you would like to add and discuss while you're here about Wilson Pond? When is the meeting, would you like to, when is the meeting on?
It's Saturday of Labor Day, so.
It's the 5th, I believe.
Okay.
You remind me?
At noon.
10 a.m. on Saturday the 5th. 11 a.m. 11 a.m.
Well, anyways, we did go out there and we did look around, we're trying to, you know.
I don't even understand, are those things, I don't mean phrases more polite, are the weight boards that to me look like a guardrail or what we're referring to as benches, or are actual benches?
I guess that's a good question, because when I stepped back and I was looking, they're like a telephone pole in the ground, and they look like they've been actually hit, because some of them are tilted, and that's what makes a bench. And I'm thinking, this wasn't made for a bench. I think this is just so people won't drive into the water, right? And it makes a lot of sense, but I think what they did is they solved two things with one thing, right? They used it as a bench, and then they used it as a guardrail. So those have to be pretty strong, and because when I stepped back and looked, I'm realizing this is a guardrail, not a bench.
And
Because
what-
I was trying to figure out where the broken fence was.
And what Richard's talking about is trying to make it look more attractive and also still be a solid, if he can pull that off.
Yeah.
I can address your Wilson Pond issue, because I lived there for 10 years ago. Those were, that was guardrails that was put up, and they were put on top.
Right.
As far as the water level, it was never maintained the way it was, so we used to, when I lived on Wilson Pond, 6 of us took over and made the water level higher. So I'm not sure if you wanted it lower or not, but I can tell you, in the past, we had it to the top of the dam, and then Elton would come and take it, pour it out, because there were 3 people who were complaining the water was getting into their basement, which was part of the water, which was also affecting their furnace. And we had a huge issue with that, so we would actually put the boards in illegally, screw them in illegally, and then fight like a mother to get them out. It was fall time, so the water levels would go down in the winter.
Well, you know, there's people in backflow that
Thank you
don't
for your
do
input.
roads anymore.
What was your name?
I already gave it.
Yeah, because just for the record that you've spoken, so Sue can put it in the minutes.
David Mason.
Did you get that? David what?
Mason, M-A-S-O-N. I'm here too, I used to sing all the time. And you know, and I know we just disagree.
All right, so I'm going to move on here, okay? What do we have here? Energy Commission, who's that? Oh, yeah, Joe? Huh?
Barbara?
Barbara's
Oh, hi, Barbara. How are you? This sun is hitting me right in my eyes, Barbara, so I'm seeing black up there.
It's
Coming
the
through this window right here.
Is there anything I can do?
No, that's
Oh, you're
unfortunately,
getting it, I see, you need to move.
How are you doing, Barbara?
Good.
Good.
So I'm here because of, potential sale of the RECs from the solar array that we have at the wastewater treatment plant. And so I'm guessing everybody got a copy of, or saw a copy of the proposed contract with revision? Yes. Okay. So just as a little summary, revision acts as what's called an aggregator. So revision has projects like this one that they've done and other projects that they've done, and they aggregate those RECs, and then they sell them to a broker. And the broker deals in much larger volumes than what Revision has as an aggregator. So that's why, when you look at the contract, it has Revision with their Portland address because that's their headquarters. And then at the last part, there's a, what do they call this? The service agreement, the Renewable Energy Certificate Service Agreement, that's Massachusetts, because Revision uses Massachusetts market because it's a much more robust market, and they're most likely to be able to sell the RECs there than to try to deal with someplace in New Hampshire. So that's why that is in there.
I appreciate you getting that clarification, because it
Yeah.
didn't make sense until you brought it back.
So the way this works, we already have, what do they call it, a DAS, a data acquisition system. We already have that incorporated in the solar array that we have. So what that means is that data automatically gets fed into NEPOOL, which is the New England pool. And then what happens is Revision will pull that information, and it'll tell them exactly how many kilowatts we have produced. And then that's how they determine the value of the REC. And they do that. They have an account, so they're able to go into that NEPOOL, pull that information, and then they pay us. But they will be retaining $3.50 based on this contract per REC sold. So, that's their fee.
How much does a REC solar go for usually?
They go the last I heard, it was like $40 a kilowatt hour. A kilowatt, excuse me.
Well, I think it's kilowatt hours, that's the energy.
Kilowatt hours.
Kilowatt hours is energy, kilowatts is power. Kilowatt hours is
Kilowatts
energy.
is power, yeah,
Kilowatts is power, but kilowatts energy is kilowatt hours.
right. But it was expected, like he was saying, based on our system that, we could expect like $5,000, from that.
Per month,
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Per month, 5,000 per month.
That's good.
How is the broker paid?
Wait a minute. I just want to rethink about that, 5,000 a month or a year, because 5,000 a month sounds a little high. If you figure $40, no, maybe it's a year. How is the broker paid? Because they, I think Revision pays the broker like $1.50 or something like that per REC.
Out of their three something, yeah.
But again, the broker is dealing in much larger volumes, so they can afford to just charge that little bit, whereas Revision has a smaller amount that they're representing, and so that's why they do. But I guess according to Revision, they're competitive, that's what you're going to get. Originally, we thought Priority Power would be able to do this, but they don't deal in RECs. So we can't, that's not going anywhere. So if we don't do Revision, then we can always try the other one, which was, was it Knollwood or something like that? There's another company. But it seems to me that these guys would be pretty straightforward, and, this is what, no matter where you go, this is what we're going to get. And we have a relationship with Revision, so it would just be maintaining, that or extending that. So I guess the thing is to look at this and see if it is agreeable to what you think the town should be doing. The nitty-gritty is just what I said, they're going to pay us, whatever the going rate is, based on the Massachusetts market, whatever they, however they sell them to the broker. And then they're just going to keep $3.50 out of that, say $40. And then they pull out the information and they send us the check. Revision sends us the check.
We get the checks, it comes to the town, and the amount we get might vary as the market varies. So there's no guarantee exactly, but it's going to be more money we're getting now, right?
That's right. That's right. We're getting nothing now.
Right.
So that's what, I mean, some people choose to do what they call retire their RECs, and so they never really sell them because they think they're doing a good thing because they're just creating this green energy without, you know. The RECs go to, there's two kind of markets. There's the voluntary market and there's the compliance market. And basically, revision says they deal with the compliance market. I mean, so like your utility has to have so much green energy, and if they don't, then they buy RECs. And that makes up for the amount. So they're buying the fact that we are creating that energy instead of the utility. All right. So some people feel that if they just retire their RECs, they don't sell them, then they're doing something that's better for the environment because somebody else can't say that, you know, they're creating this. Anyway, but I don't think that's an option that we want to do. I don't think people in the municipality would be interested in retiring their RECs. I think they'd rather get the income off the RECs.
Probably right.
Yeah.
And this is for 1 year.
Yeah, well, I'll have to look at this. I think it's 1-year contract, automatically renewable, and there's terms in here in terms of, you know, if you want to back out.
And there's some lag time. I forgot whether it was the lag time, I think 18 months, that if we were to back out, they still have 18 months based on their work to sell them.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I looked at this and, you know, I'm not a legalese person and I don't know how you do this. I mean, do you have a lawyer look at it before we sign stuff like that? So, you know, basically, I think what you need to decide is if you think this makes sense and this is what you want to do, and then move forward. I mean, this is the contract, other than it doesn't have, you know, the specifics like our name and the facility. So that would just be filled in by revision, and then we would sign the contract. So
what you'd like from us is to authorize the board chair to sign on behalf of the town, subject to attorney's review?
I believe so.
I will second that motion.
No, Mark's got to make the motion.
Oh, yeah, Mark's got to make the motion.
You just did. I make a motion that we authorize the chair of board to sign the contract with the revision after it being reviewed by our town attorney.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for pursuing this, Barbara.
Yeah, really, I was really,
No, gotta go send it to her now.
We have a copy of that, right? So,
yes.
Barbara emailed it.
Yeah.
Barbara emailed it.
okay.
So,
We can print it off, Barbara.
pardon?
We can print it off, we have it, so we'll
Yeah.
do it and send it to Cordell and I'll sign it.
Oh, yeah, but they have to, you know, revision has to fill in that other information, so if you want a copy, you know, then you could print that one up. But you can have this reviewed by the lawyer, right, without our stuff on it? I don't know, whatever, you guys know how to
And
do that. I
then
don't-
we'll let you know that we're ready to do it, and you get revision to send us a copy with their name on it, not really? I mean, how does revision get their name on it?
Say that again?
You said that revision has to have their name on it. and
Well,
we
it has to have our
name.
name on it.
Yes.
It doesn't have our name on it.
Right, so how's that going to happen? We're going to put our name on it?
Well, if you want to do it, then they will do it. They'll print it up and send it back out to us, I believe. And then we'll
So-
because really, we don't have this template
Right.
to be able to do it. So they'll do it, send it out to us, I'll send it to you, and you do whatever you
Okay,
guys
so
do, because...
the next thing we get from you is the final version of
The
it.
final version.
That then Jimmy would take to the lawyer and decide about. Okay.
Right. And,
No, I just question that because that's timing. We can forward this to Cordell tomorrow.
Right,
Because the only thing that's going to change is
Right.
the addition of the client.
right,
So we could do
right.
that.
So we can get the lawyer to look at it before you send us the revised.
Right,
That's the best way to do it.
right.
Yep.
And there was a second part to that email. It had to do with the management agreement, and I don't know if you looked at that.
I did.
Okay, but the revision is also offering to do that. And again, I don't know if you feel we need someone to manage the solar array. It explains exactly what they do, and maybe perhaps that's something you might want Joe to look at. Or, you know, if you, again, there's a fee attached to that, but do we need it? I don't know that we need it. But then again, I'm not the one who's managing it, so perhaps you could take a look at that or send it to Joe, see if, I mean, he's the manager right now of that solar array, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say, you know, take a look at that because it talks about, you know, it's comprehensive. So it's the technical component as well as, you know, the physical component of, management. So I would just ask you to take a look at it.
I was personally hoping that you would bring the details forward so that
Of the plan?
of the management plan, so I'd at least understand what I was going to be reading. So,
Okay. Well,
not necessarily you, but you and the committee, after you've all reviewed it,
okay, well,
advise as to whether it makes sense.
I guess, you know, I can't make that decision because I'm not the one who's managing it, so, I mean, I don't know how much of a, you know, issue it is to try to do this, you know, is this kind of like making it a bigger deal than it needs to be? Or, you know, and that's why I think maybe if Joe reviewed it, he would say, I'm doing this, I don't need anybody else to do it. Or, boy, that would be a load off my hands, you know. Or it might be an assurance, you know, if something fails technically, we've got someone there to fix it without us having to call somebody to fix it, you know, that kind of a thing. So, you know, I would suggest maybe having Joe take a look at it and see if you think it's worth the expense. Okay?
We can do that.
Thanks a lot, Barbara.
All right.
Thank you so much.
pushing this
There's a
forward.
lot of work you put into that, Bob.
Well, a lot of emails back and forth, right? Oh, gosh. All right. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Bob, for all your help. Okay. Where are we? Public input, that's what we're looking at, right? Public input, do we have any more people out there that would love to speak, or come right up? Sit in a big chair right there and state your name and let us know what you need.
My name is David Mason.
Hi, David.
Three things. Number one, your tax man at Swanzey is amazing. I literally made a mistake 2 years ago for like $100 or something. I overpaid by mistake. He could have easily kept the money, and he was 100% calling me the next day after it went through 2 or 3 times. He said, nope, you paid me too much. I mean, I sat there and counted out, so I want...
We're talking about Kevin?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, amazing person. Your registrar for vehicles, what's her name?
Heather.
Heather, amazing person, so 2 shout-outs to
We
those people.
also have Amanda, too, right?
Yeah.
I haven't met Amanda, but Heather...
So we'll give a shout out to both of them, right?
Yes,
Since you got good
I want both
service.
of those recognized if I could, please.
Fantastic.
The reason I'm here is a question, and I've gone to a couple people, and nobody wants to either admit to it or know the answers to it. From the elementary school...
So, I actually talked to Joe yesterday about this. I think Joe was gonna get back to me, because I kept forgetting when you asked me, and I remembered yesterday, so I called him, and he's getting back to me. He thinks the state owns it, though.
Okay, that's what my thought was too. So can we make the state do anything about it?
Fill us in on the question first, because I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Okay, but on Sawyer's Crossing, from the elementary school all the way to where I live on 37 Sawyer's, between the sidewalk and the school's fence, there's a piece of grass that's there that's like 12 feet wide by how many yards long? It took 3 years for them to mow it. In Swansea Center, we're all talking about how beautiful Swansea is. Kevin Bell and I have taken it upon ourselves to mow it every now and then. I mow it from my property all the way to where the fiber optics garage is. I mow that every other week so it doesn't look horrible. But from the fiber optics garage all the way to usually to the street where the driveway is for the elementary school is very rarely, if ever, mowed.
David, hold on, let me stop you. I know where Kevin lives, right?
Yep.
Are you talking going toward the police station?
Nope.
From Kevin?
From my house
I'm not
live
sure
right.
where your house
Oh,
is.
jeez, you're killing me, you're killing me. Right across the street from Kevin is me.
Okay.
White colonial, green shutters.
Beautiful Christmas display out.
Yeah, yeah.
Keeps the house.
David, I apologize. It's beautiful. Now
I've been to your place, you don't even know.
Beautiful. I get it, David. I see it, it's beautiful.
So from my property, which is the white colonial,
Toward the store.
towards the school, that property from the sidewalk to where the stone fence is never been mowed.
Ever.
3 years ago, the school mowed it up to a point, but from the end of the fence where the school has their fence and all the do not parking signs, that part has never been mowed. There's huge branches where the trees have fallen. Kevin and I have a couple times have gone out there and moved some of them. It's just a pain in the butt. I mow, and I don't mind mowing from my place to the driveway for the fiber optics, but the rest of it, I mean, you know, I can't control the neighbors down the street, the Terrians. Their place is different looking. But I'd like to have somebody, once in a while, and thank you, Mark, for looking into that. So, but unfortunately, I guess the state owns it, and the state doesn't give a rat's derriere. So I don't know how.
Maybe it was just a spot that they thought they were doing it, we thought we were doing it, we missed it. And you're bringing it to light, so maybe we'll get it done. Maybe we can fix this problem.
I don't think it would take much, but
I don't
I'm
think
not
it's a
trying
big
to put.
problem. I think we're gonna probably figure this out and fix it.
I don't think it would take, I went to Tony Breen at the high school, and he goes, I don't own that one. I went to the town, and they said, nope, the school owns it, the school says they don't own it. I figured it was the state, because they own to the fence, the stone fence there, and I know they don't give a rat's derriere, but, it just looks, not that anyone cares, but I care. I try and maintain my property. Bill, you understand the concept of making a nice-looking place, so,
You do it every
Yeah.
Christmas.
So-
Well, all year, but
yeah, I try. So anyways, that was my question. I just was wondering, and I didn't need to come here, Mark, you answered for me, so thank you very much.
Well, I'm sorry that you had to come in and do this, but we'll get it looked in. Mark we'll push Mark right into getting this fixed.
I also wanted 2 shout-outs for the town employees that do a great job, so.
That's really nice here. It's nice to hear that once in a while, Very seldom you hear the bad things, you don't hear the good sides, And it's nice, and attaboy is pretty good once in a while. Thank you for
Every
that.
time I've gone to
Oh,
register
girl.
my vehicles with Heather, she's always been amazing. I mean, she's very
Fantastic.
polite, very kind, very whatever. And the Kevin, I believe his name is.
Yep, Kevin.
I mean, he could have, either $50 or $100. I was convinced I paid everything. I counted it twice, he counted it twice. I was short, so I put more money in. I'm like, that got to be short. I counted it. And literally, he called me the next day and said, I got your money here. He could have easily pocketed that, and no one would have
And I told
known.
him to keep it, David, so we can mow that little section. I said, now we can get that section where we can pay for the gas.
Yeah,
But
the
he
gas,
said, "No,
yeah,
Jimmy,
no."
no."
So anyways, I just want to give the 2 shout-outs and positives.
That was really
and
nice.
question that.
And we'll send that message off to the town hall that you just gave us tonight.
And off the record, I heard your commercial, not your commercial, you and your son on the radio the other week, talking about you going to the great job on the baseball with the, helping out the first
Oh,
responders.
thank you for that.
And his place down there is great, your place is great.
Great, thank you very much,
You're welcome.
David. And your house is beautiful, David, by the way. It's unbelievable, Dave. No, I always almost get in an accident because my head is turning over there all the time.
I'll show him tomorrow. See you, Dave.
Thanks for coming in. Have a great night, David. You guys here to approach us? Hi, Joe.
Good evening. I want to say I registered my car the other day, and Amanda was great.
So you had that call up, bud, right, for her?
Let her know.
That's good. What brings you here tonight?
Sort of step 2 of the process that we started last week. Again, the Lake Association is preparing a grant application under Section 319, which is a water quality improvement grant. It is administered by state DES. They did not offer any grants last year due to some funding issues in Washington. So our expectation is this year is going to be very, very competitive for the small amount of money that is available. We are working with Southwest Region Planning Commission as basically our grant writer in our pre-concept meeting. with Southwest and DES. They both recommended that we have a letter of support from the town. And again, as I mentioned last week, we're not seeking any money. The town really has no functional responsibility here, but they felt that a letter of support would be very helpful with our grant application. That grant is targeted at two places. One, as we work down the list of both high and medium priority items from our watershed-based management report, two items that have now sort of bubbled up, excuse the pun, are the shoreline at Camp Squanto, and the work would be to target the erosion that's going on there through various means. The other part of the grant request is to set up a fund to partially reimburse homeowners on improvements to their septic systems. We're seeking a grant of about $70,000. That grant proposal needs to be submitted, I believe, by the 10th or the 11th. And as I mentioned last week, I go on vacation on the 3rd, and I'm trying to get everything done before that date. I believe Stefan has prepared that letter of support. I know Jay has a copy. I don't know who else has it. And that letter, I think, is pretty straightforward, but I don't want to speak for you guys.
I have two letters here, Joe. I have the 319 grant letter, and I have the on-call engineering letter.
Let's put the on-calls to the side, and let's focus on the 319 before, I know I tend to get confused between the two.
This is hot off the presses.
Anything you want to add?
I won't talk about on-call yet.
No.
Who drafted the letter? Did you
Stefan.
guys?
Stefan did.
We had a meeting with Stefan, Sherry and I had a meeting with Stefan last Wednesday, talked through a lot of the background, and he drafted that letter, which frankly I saw when I showed up here at 4:30. So I did a quick review on my phone, and it looks good to me.
There was one part of it that Stefan took out because it was not good. But we both recognize that.
Did he see the part that you took out? Did he read it after you took that part out?
Yes, I'm sure, because Stefan would have
Do
sent
you
it
know
to you.
what he's talking about?
No, I do not. I didn't hear the whole thing.
There was a final sentence at the end, which was basically gobbledygook, and we took it out.
Yeah, mine did not have gobbledygook. So I assume mine...
Did you read this?
It said that...
Yes, I did.
This is the part
And
that
I'm good with it.
This is the part that he took out. The town of Swansea thanks its residents, collaborators, and stakeholders in the consideration of assisting Swansea in its pursuit of a happier, healthier community.
Okay, well,
We took that out.
if you give me a second, I can tell you if it's out of the version that...
That was the
I
last.
have no problem if you take that out.
Okay.
Maybe you should read it.
Everybody's read it,
We all have to sign it, so, you know. I'd like to give it to Joe tonight if we could.
No, that's not in the version that I...
Good.
yeah. Are you all set for Saturday morning at 10 o'clock?
We just heard about that too.
All right, so
I hope to be there.
what do we
Be
do?
great.
What do we do about Alan?
Well, I think
Doesn't,
4 signatures are enough.
we just need 3.
Yeah, but do you really want to leave one blank that will...
Joe needs it.
Well, I need it by next Tuesday.
Oh, so what,
So
you bring it to the office, we'll tell Alan to go. And I'd like to see 5 on there. I don't think we should leave a blank.
Alan can come in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Alan couldn't show tonight, and I just want to make sure, I would like to see all 5 of us on there.
I agree if it can meet the deadline.
We can do that.
So then you could pick it up from Bill tomorrow. He'll be in the office tomorrow.
He'll be in the office, okay.
I'm not sure what time, but I won't be tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm taking a day off.
We'll get a hold of Alan and do it. I just,
While you're signing that, very quickly on the on-call engineering program, we've been talking with Southwest since last April regarding taking advantage of their on-call engineering program. where they sponsor small conceptual engineering projects related to transportation. And the one that they earmarked actually before us was doing a conceptual engineering study on Talbot Hill Road to prevent further erosion on East Shore Road, which from our standpoint then winds up in the lake. We began serious discussions with Stefan at the Conservation Commission meeting early August.
Yes. And the Conservation Commission supports this and is willing to put some money up to make it happen, maybe some matching money from the town. But the last time Talbot Hill Road washed into East Shore Road, we were lucky enough to get FEMA money to help fix it. And I don't know if that money would be available if this happens again. So the conceptual study is just to see what's possible for Talbot Hill and what could improve that situation to stop a lot of the runoff, which I've got to say the town has already addressed a lot of it from the last flood. The improvements they've made have been great. But if we did have a storm of the magnitude that happened 3 years ago, we may have further damage to East Shore Road. And again, like Joe said, our concern is that washing into the lake, but it is a transportation type of thing to protect East Shore Road. So that's sort of the background on that. So.
To put maybe a little finer point on this, we do water testing on the lake, and I happen to actually go out and do the dissolved oxygen testing, and you want a lot of oxygen in the water. Based on the history, I actually did testing the morning of the flooding, so we have a great baseline. You definitely see deterioration of the water quality being supported by all of the sediment that has been dumped into the lake. It is consuming large amounts of oxygen, which isn't there now for other things. So preventing future flooding of the lake today for us is a very, very high priority. This particular program, the maximum grant, I believe is $11,500. Some of the early estimates from the cost of the conceptual engineering project have been on the order of $15,000 to $20,000. So we as a community would need to come up with a match on the order of $3,500 to $8,500.
What would you do with this? What are you going to do?
An engineering firm would come in.
Just get the engineering part of it done.
Yeah.
To look at Talbot Hill, why the water's coming down, washing out East Shore Road, right?
Particularly the road,
I
why
see.
Talbot Hill Road. Probably the most powerful thing is there'd be a stakeholder meeting that the engineering firm would initiate with ourselves, the various stakeholders involved, with the town, and start talking about what options could be. They would then do a complete study, come back to us and say, here are the 2, 3, 4 options, here are the approximate costs, and then we as a town would have to decide
how we're going to do it.
What we want to do, is it worth that investment?
Interesting.
I don't have a
Is all about this?
Excuse me?
Is that what this is about?
That's
The letter?
not the letter we talked about before. This is, I think Steph
No,
offered.
this is the letter, they're now looking at the.
I have not seen,
Haven't
nor,
seen that, no.
we haven't seen that, but we have been meeting with Stefan.
This came from Stefan this afternoon as well.
See it?
Yeah, you want to look at it?
Is this the same time constraint?
No,
No, luckily no.
this has got, we've been talking with Southwest for 14, 15 months. And at the beginning of those discussions, we were at the top of the list. As their effort drags on, my concern, quite frankly, there's going to be more and more people vying for a very small pool of money. So I've got a sense of urgency because I want to stay at the top of that list. The longer we take, it's a sort of a first come, first served basis. I think they only have allocated about $35,000 for this program. So they're considering giving out 3 grants.
The what?
Excuse me?
3,000, you said?
Of that 35,000, 3 grants of 11,500.
grants.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I thought you had a D in there.
No. 3 grants.
Does that read okay, Bud?
Looks good, yeah.
I trust Bud, and a quick read looks
Take care,
good to me.
Dave.
What is that?
That's the letter of support. It's not a letter of
For
support
the
what we
just
we're talking about.
So if everybody's ever there, we could send that too.
I'd rather wait till next week.
Yeah, okay.
So
we'll put that on.
if there's no
So
hold,
we're gonna get this one signed by Alan, the one you originally came, the 319, and we'll sit on that for a week or so. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, because the most emergency one is the 319.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and we'll
Yeah,
have
and
that.
then just before we leave on call, just full transparency, we're going to be coming back and saying, with that letter, we in total need some money.
yeah, which we may or may not have.
Exactly, right. But I just want to be upfront. The first one, there's no money attached.
This one,
The on-call, there is.
that's why we want to sit on it for a little bit, I think.
Understand?
What'd you grab your wallet for, just then when he said that?
I did chip my weight over the wall.
Now, the Lake Association has a very, very small budget, and we're willing to kick in some money ourselves, just as a show of good faith on it.
Well, all that's in the negotiation phase as we get closer to it.
All right, sounds good.
It was a very nice visit, guys. Thank you for coming in again.
Okay, take care.
Hey, and if we don't see you, have a good vacation.
Thank you very much.
Where you going, Italy?
No, that was last year. We're going to the UK.
Ah,
Joe, we'll leave this at the front desk.
with Katie.
Yeah.
Okay, when's the earliest I should consider coming in?
We're gonna call
Girls,
him tomorrow
we'll call
morning.
him.
So
Thanks for coming.
we'll let you know.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, MAST grant.
Okay. So, Stefan, also, the next item on the agenda is the MAST grant.
Oh, yeah.
We asked Stefan to list some possible projects. I'm not sure this list has got any meat to it, but I can read it to you. I didn't make copies of it because it seemed like a waste. But he's listed 3 ideas and then has the 4th one as additional suggestions by the DPW Director, Select Board, and residents. So it's in that stage of development. But these are the 3. Continued southerly extension of sidewalk along Old Homestead Highway towards Talbot Hill Road. Second one, engineering analysis for the construction of an easterly road for emergency services traveling from Old Homestead Highway to the rear of Marcy Hill through map 219, lot 42. If you're picturing that, that's from the fire station basically to Marcy Hill and that potential development in that area. And the third one is engineering analysis for reconstruction of Class 5 road along Oliver Hill Road to intersection of CL Lane Road and Woodland Heights Drive, connecting through Oliver Hill Road to the Woodland Heights area from Route 32 to making that a viable connection. Well, these are engineering studies, those 2 things. So I'm attracted to the idea of east-west corridors being available for emergency services and communications in the town. And both of these engineering studies would be preliminary toward potential development of the town in those areas. However, they're just engineering studies. They don't actually get anything built. Whereas the first one, the sidewalks, actually build sidewalks that go down to Talbot Hill Road and might be extended some other time. And then there are other ideas we might want to use for the MAST award. So that's what Stefan has given us, and we need to think about it and either discuss it now or later.
Yeah, the grant application is due in mid-October.
Something like that.
And Joe would need to be spoken with regard to extending the sidewalk. He's taking it to the church this year. And then this would extend it further, which he's got to do research on.
Stefan said that Joe simply said to him, why don't we just continue with the sidewalk? That's what Joe said to Stefan. But we'd have to ask Joe for a little more detail about that.
We've gotten a lot of sidewalks out of the MAST grants.
So what is really the question, whether we want to go after a MAST grant for this in particular thing, or is there other things? Is that what we're trying to say right now?
Well, this is a transportation-related grant, right? I mean, that's what the MAST grant is, and it's a donor who's given this money.
Application has to be in by October?
Yeah.
Yep, early October.
Early October.
And this is something we've received at least 3.
Yeah.
If not more, but at least 3.
We have.
And there's some concern that
So
there's
this
a
is
donor
funding
behind
just for
this.
the engineering, not the engineering,
One of them is
all the sidewalks, and the other 2 are just for
Engineering.
engineering and looking how it would be done, right? How
Yeah.
costly are these things?
Well,
Like, where do they run? Hundreds of thousands?
No, I think the last one we got was 50,000, 50 or 75. So Joe runs the pavement.
as far as it will go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the other argument for the engineering analysis is that having done that study, it makes it a little easier for someone who wants to develop those areas, because then they know they have the engineering done, and they can then focus on the construction costs. That's what that is. You know, so if we want to induce somebody to come up with something like that, then that's a inducement for a developer to go look at that project. So that's the only, these are the arguments that Stefan gave me, and I'm just passing
So
them on.
this is a board, this would be a board thing that we make a motion to send them up, but we want to give Joe time to look into more of this, right? So
Yeah,
he's
he
just
would be
giving us a
involved.
heads up on
He'd
it,
be involved in all 3 of them.
and all 3 of them. And Joe's already aware of this?
I don't think Joe's seen this little memo, but he and Stefan have had a talk, and all I know is that Stefan said that Joe said, well, why don't we just do sidewalks? That's what Joe said. Now, we can ask Joe for a more definitive answer to that, but that's what we got here.
Okay.
Right, exactly.
Yep,
Yep.
and that would be part of that.
Yep, that'd be part of the on-call engineering grant.
Can I get clarification on the first letter that we asked for, that wasn't on the agenda?
It was not, it came in as public input.
Yeah, it came in as public input. That was 319 grant. Did you, do you want to see a copy of that letter that we are thinking about here? And then the on-call engineering grant letter is here.
Yeah, I don't think you need this, just that we discussed it, we're gonna look into it.
She wants the other memo,
I
though.
couldn't hear what you were saying.
Oh.
And she meant the other memo.
I could hear sidewalk.
Oh,
Isn't that the other one?
this is the other one.
Oh, this one.
The on-call engineering you have, but that's on the agenda, so,
Gives me something to refer back to.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
All right.
I
So
got
we
one
move,
quick non-public.
yeah, but wait a minute, we didn't finish it, wait.
I have some administrative update if you want to.
Yeah, hold on, over there? Yeah. Well, any other business? I just want to briefly touch.
He's got an administrative update.
Okay, go ahead.
But, okay, just the phones, I had a nice talk with the people from Fidium today about what we're paying for through Fidium for phone lines in the town, and there are a couple interesting things that I discovered. We were specifically, first of all, focusing on the town hall and the police station. The idea is that they're proposing, and they sent me a proposal, which we're considering, I hope, for running internet service basically to both places that would cost about the same as what we're paying now, but it's 4 times better in terms of capacity and so on. It's fiber, yeah. And it would replace the Spectrum internet in these places. And currently in Town Hall, we have both Spectrum and First Light providing internet. And Chris Emerson was on the phone with us, and he prefers the First Light as crappy internet, crappy fiber. But basically, this would be an upgrade, and they're proposing to do that for us. There's, if we were to sign this contract by Friday, they could give us 3 months free. Chris and I spoke after our team's call, and he says, and I felt the same way, we've gotten in trouble before rushing into things, so we don't really want to rush into things. And we're talking about $450 a month for 3 months. The savings we get there is pretty minimal in terms of making sure, we want to make sure we're getting what we want here. So we thought we'd wait a little bit. It takes 45 to 60 days for them to install this, and they basically install it, and we'd be running under both systems for a day as they test it all out, and then we'd go on to the other. And the other part of that is we have to find out what it takes to get out of contracts with First Light and Spectrum. Christine did some digging and discovered that the First Light contract is a 3-year contract which expires in end of December this year. And so it may be we can't get out of that until then. We have to figure out whether there's any early exit provisions and stuff like that. But that's what we've done today, looking into it so far. Chris advises that there's no reason to rush, that there's a small cost to wait, that looking into First Light and Spectrum contracts, discover cancellation costs, which we started to do. And he says that we first need to switch from Sangoma, et cetera, and then we could upgrade the internet on top after that. So we want to get better phones in there and then get better service. And having the 45 to 60 day installation means that we don't have to rush. We eventually get that before the end of the year. But if we can't get out of the Spectrum and the First Light, then that maybe we have to wait till the end of the year to do the upgrade of the system. The Spectrum contract we're trying to track down, Christine wasn't able to find it this afternoon. The First Light is our backup. We're running Spectrum in Town Hall right now. That's the internet we're using. The First Light is fiber as a backup in case the Spectrum goes down. And we all talked about how we didn't necessarily need to pay for a backup. So that's the idea. Chris's idea was that we should cancel First Light first and save the money on that while we're looking at, but we may not be able to. We have to look into that.
Wait for the contract.
Yeah, the contract ends then. Also, we have a list of all the lines that we're paying Fidium for, and some of them are lines which we have decided to discontinue. The Select Board apparently decided to discontinue the alarm lines on the covered bridges, for instance. They haven't been canceled, and we've been paying several $100s in monthly fees for those lines. And I have
Who's supposed to cancel those?
Lori apparently was asked to cancel those. I have a spreadsheet of all the stuff we're paying with Fidium, and Christine and I have identified where all these are. Some of them are ones we just don't want to upgrade to fiber. And we can do that easily where there's internet. For instance, at DPW there's internet, and at the transfer station there's internet. So all we have to do is arrange for them to be changed over to fiber. Copper is going away. They're everywhere. They're ripping the copper lines out. And what Fidium is doing is they're raising the price of the copper lines to force people to go to fiber. So the costs we're paying already are going to go up. Right now, we're paying $1,438, $28 a month for these phones, of which at least 7 of them we don't use. okay? We don't use the fire panels in the transfer station. We don't use the fire panels in the, I don't even know what this is. 181 Sawyer's Crossing Road is but we discovered that
That might be the bridge.
that's the bridge. We don't use the alarm panels there. There's a bridge, there are two lines there. There's a line at the bridge by the fire station on Main Street down the road here. There's one at the Westport Village Road that on the Slate Bridge. There's one for the Carlton Bridge. Those are all ones that were supposed to be canceled.
Can these all be canceled, like, right away? It's got nothing to do with the contract or nothing?
Yes, I can.
It's as easy as just calling them and saying, take these lines off of it.
Actually, there's a form he sent me, the Fidium guy sent me a form to fill out to cancel those, which with your approval I will do. When I get in the office on Friday, I'll do that.
How did this come along? How did this?
Well, the Fidium guy
Fidium
called me and said, we need to review your service. I think there's some lines that you don't need, that you're not using, but we need to review your service because we need to upgrade from copper to.
And then you went to Teresa and asked for that?
No, this came from him.
Oh, that came from him?
Yeah, and this is the prices we're paying for each of these phones and the numbers and the locations. And some of them, we've been looking for who we were paying for the phone at Richardson Park, for instance. It's on here. And that's a copper line that we're paying them for that we can change to Fidium. And he says it's cheaper to go with the fiber anyway. So if we go to fiber, we're going to save some money and we'll have better service and so on. And Chris was on the line to advise us, and I expect to lean on him a lot to advise how we go forward on this, but that's where we are on that.
So when he started that conversation, you seemed like you wanted to add something to it. Did he answer your question in the conversation?
And we do have a proposal from the Fidium people, and I do have a copy of the contract for the First Light people here in this little folder, which I'll, so that's the phones, that's my first effort.
So you're going to follow up and cancel all those?
I can easily do that for those ones that are clear. And then the others are ones we're using currently, and I think those are ones we want to upgrade. But then for us, the police station goes, there's some phones in the police station that are copper right now, and I don't know particularly if we're using them or not. We need to figure that out as part of the transfer, and Chris is going to work with us on that, I think.
Where is the update on the new phones? What's going on there? How long, where do we stand with the new phones?
Well, Christine finished an analysis of what our phone usage is, and she's put that report together and sent it off to Tanya today.
That helps us come up with the plan we need.
We need to know which phones need to be a special, the higher grade, and which ones be the lower grade.
She sent that over so Tanya can order those.
So it's in movement.
Yep, and we're shooting for a 9/11 target date.
That's what we're shooting at? Where they come actually in and start bringing phones in?
Yep, they want to be set up, and as Jay mentioned, they want to have a few days of simultaneous working because as of 9/14, our contract with Sangoma ends.
Wow.
And
then there's this other that Lisa's been working on. There's so many layers to this stuff.
Yeah,
Fire station, the police station.
So she's working on a company called TCE. I don't know that she's gotten what she needs.
She got a contact finally, but she doesn't have the numbers that they bill us for.
Yeah, they won't give us the numbers. They won't give us a copy of their contract. So we're probably in a month-to-month situation now, unless it auto-renewed.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Evening.
How we doing?
I'm doing.
So in terms of the phones, everything is moving forward
Yeah.
smoothly.
The other thing, next thing to mention is that in terms of the hazard mitigation thing that we talked about last week, there's now a form for people to provide input on hazard mitigation that's on the town website. It's the first item on the left on the community news section of the town website. And I just want to make sure that people listening, and if they wish to fill out that form, they should go to the town website to do so. I want to announce that.
We all got an email with that. Did you get
Yeah,
it?
except, yeah, it's a
Yep.
survey.
Okay. So we can answer the survey.
And the third thing is what you and Megan discussed about the actual cost of carrying inactive fire department members on the rolls that we have to pay for disability insurance. And it's important for us to manage those rolls so that we don't pay as much, don't pay too much for.
Well, there it goes back to, after what I read through, I mean, there it goes back to the roster and how important it was to have that updated. And then when I read that, I went, there it is, you know, there's some of the reasons why. And I was gonna call Eric today, but I figured I'd wait till we discuss it tonight and have him make sure he updates it and bring it to you and have it brought to you. And if you want, I can call him tomorrow and make sure he brings you an exact who is and who isn't and everything like that, up to date, up to today. Because when I asked, can you go get that, do you remember? Right now, could you supply it to me? And then there was questions about certain people on there, do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Nick went, well, wait a minute, there's this and that. So we need to clarify that.
And he needs to understand why.
It's gonna be real money in a few years.
Yeah.
That's right. So,
Not that it's not real money now, but
Eventually
yeah,
it's going
because
to
this is
double.
gonna be from now to 2030.
They
They're
want
gonna
double it
slowly,
every-
they're gonna gradually raise, right?
not
To
gradually,
get to-
Double it every year.
Yeah, but to get to,
it's 2,400 per person now. It'll
To
be
get to 9,600.
4,800 and get to 9,600
for each person?
for each person.
That's,
Each on-call
that's,
person.
that's-
So if they're not participating, and then as Megan mentioned, there's other things like pagers and equipment and everything else.
it's incredible. So we're really gonna have to look deep into this. This is, you're looking at, how many we got on call, right? Do we,
If you got 10 people, that's 100,000
that's
in
right,
a few years.
that's right.
And it wouldn't change if they were full-time. We still have to pay the same amount.
Right.
Wow. Okay, so do you guys want me to do that, call Eric and tell him to get it
Yeah.
to,
To one of us at town hall.
and,
yeah.
We need that
and I'll
by the
get
end
it
of
to
the
you,
year.
get it to you?
Well, Bill's in there tomorrow, I'm in
He's
there.
working on it with Megan.
Yeah.
Oh, you already done that?
He's working on it with
He
Megan.
and Megan have been collaborating on this.
Oh, so I
quite
don't
a
have to
lot.
call him?
No, you don't.
Okay.
The last thing I have is
But
that,
I do think the fact that we have that email, you might want to have a conversation with him,
Okay.
because I'm not sure if he got that
Yeah.
email. but-
Well, I had a conversation with him today, and I told him that sooner than later, to get everything out of that center station. I said, you gotta go in there and get everything out immediately. I said, get right on it. So anything that's gonna be left in there in a few days, we're either gonna junk or figure out.
so that nice segue into my last item is that we are, to help Steve Biddle out, we need to start thinking how we want to go, what we want to have as part of phase 2 of the town hall renovation. Joe has gotten he's getting a quote from Grayson about putting a bathroom down there so that we don't have to have the Lula to make the space ADA compliant. If we have a bathroom downstairs, we don't have to have a lift to get people upstairs to the bathroom. So that would seem to be an item which we need in order to expand down below. And we don't know how much we'll have left over from the money that was approved last spring, because we haven't got the final bill on the staircase and so on, but any money that's left over could go towards some reorganization of the space to make office space or whatever down there. But we also want to look at what we want to do there. Bill is also interested in removing the pillars in the bays to make that room open and so on, and we need to look at that as a possibility. But we need to come up with something
For Steve,
and-
for the
for
CIP.
Steve, for the CIP, and we need to do that within a week or so. So he wants all this stuff by the 11th of September, with a little bit of leeway if we
So
need it.
then we should schedule like a sit down with Joe and us and maybe get those plans that we had to even look at, right? And so when are we gonna be able to do that if he needs it in a week?
Well, Steve said, when he asked me to send this out to all the department heads, which I've done,
Right?
and he asked me to do that, and he said he thought that the 11th was a good deadline date, September 11th. And he said, but it could be later, like the 18th, but he was hoping it would get in by the 11th. So I left it as the 11th, and I hope they're not listening because, but it may be that in our case, we could go a little longer since we have so much trouble we have to do it collectively. We can't just have one person decide all this. So we have to talk about what we want as a board in the basement of Town Hall. And we don't have an administrator to chime in, we don't have, that kind of stuff.
When is the first CIP meeting again? I thought I read it.
Tomorrow.
Who is gonna be on it? Because I didn't see you, were you on that, Mark? Because I didn't see him sent to it, it was me. So I guess it's me.
Well, we had decided tomorrow.
It was Mark.
But you can both go, because this is pretty critical.
What time is it tomorrow?
Well,
I thought it was tomorrow, wasn't it? Or,
We got a
No, it's a Monday.
oh, it's Monday, it's this Monday.
It's a Monday.
we have a water sewer meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Right, that's what I'm getting confused. But the,
Geez, I hope he's going to Main Street tomorrow. We're supposed to be at Main Street tomorrow.
I know, I have a terrible day tomorrow. I gotta be at,
it's Monday for the CIP
I gotta be
thing.
up at Alice's.
He asked, I saw the email, he asked Katie to,
It's Monday,
Post it.
Mark, I wanna say. I'll call Steve, but I'm pretty sure I read Monday, but I was looking at it, who is from the select board, and I did see I was on there, but I thought it was Mark, you know, and I asked Steve if he minded if I just sat in, even if Mark was on there. So, are you gonna?
Yeah, I'll go.
Good.
but I'm curious what other people think. I mean, I would like to see, myself, I'd like to see us come out of this with a couple office spaces down there, in a break room, but
Yeah, but we have other issues too. We have a water issue, right? The bathroom now issue.
I think the bathroom's really
And-
important.
Right.
But
So-
spending $100,000 on a Lula doesn't make sense right now.
And when you say money left over, I think we approved, what, 200? And we're probably 120 in right now, aren't we? We're
Closer to
The-
180.
Yeah, it's close, because there were some
We're
change
in
orders,
180?
Yeah, we just approved 2 change orders.
2 change orders, so
Oh, I
it's up
forgot
to
the
about
change
180. So
orders. Those are like
we got
30,
10 to
yeah.
20,000 to play with, and that's not going to be enough, I don't think, to make the bathroom, but we have to see what he comes back with.
So what's the issue with the bathroom that's there? It's,
Up on the stair.
and what, we need to knock that down?
Yeah, because it needs to be handicap accessible.
I got it.
Or put a lift in.
I see.
So it's basically, that's more a priority for the warrant or whatever, for the CIP, whatever. We have to think about that.
All right, so when are we gonna
But-
find time to do this?
Yeah.
That's what we gotta figure out. I mean, we're really eating a lot lately, but we have to find some time to have Joe, maybe we meet there, right? We should have a meeting there. What do you guys look like next week, the beginning of the week?
Next
Apparently
week's
busy
the
Monday.
You're
Monday's
busy
Labor
Monday
Day.
because of the
CIP.
CIP. And that
And I
have-
CIP's
Labor
at
Day.
10 there.
And I have a governance meeting
Monday's not Labor Day.
When's that?
on Monday.
What time is that?
8 something.
Because I'm wondering if we could fit it in with, because, you know, they're gonna be there Monday, CIP, right?
What time is the CIP Monday?
Huh?
What time is the CIP?
10 o'clock, I wanna say,
Where at?
downstairs town hall.
Oh, okay.
And don't correct that, I'm just remembering, I saw 10 o'clock. So, well, obviously, we're not gonna have nothing for Steve for that meeting. It's just a kickoff thing I think Steve is doing, getting
But if-
everybody together and.
If you two are going to be at that
Yeah.
meeting, would you, the meeting, after that meeting, is there time when we all could gather?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. You're already giving up that part of the day.
1 hour.
Oh, yeah, he won't go over an hour on that. We could say 11 o'clock on Monday, meet downstairs, but now he has a
But
governance.
that's not till later on in the afternoon.
Governance is in the
So
afternoon.
your day is no golfing, no Red Sox, no nothing?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Put that in the minutes. So,
So 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock on Monday, I guess, right?
I could still play 9 holes of golf and get there. I was done at 8:30 this
Oh,
morning.
my God. I had to pick up my wife at the hospital, she's getting, I don't want to be careful.
Anyway, you have an appointment Monday.
Yeah, but let me see what mine is, but keep this, do it at 11, 'cause you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because you guys can fill me in on it if you guys
No,
need to.
we need to all be together.
Okay.
Well, to make it a final decision, we need to discuss it and all the pros and cons, right? That's what you're looking for.
All right.
And we got to get Alan
All
on
right,
board
I'll
too.
get a hold of everybody, we'll get together, we'll get a hold of everybody, but we'll shoot for right now, Monday at 11, okay?
Yep.
All right, unless something pops up and we
Okay.
email everybody. Okay, that's closer to that.
So
Are you done?
that's my administrative update.
All right, so where are we after that?
Done before.
Well, we gotta see.
Jimmy, not to interrupt you, so one quick question for you guys.
That's all I can give you tonight. Is
I purchased 50 chair covers myself. Because Katie told me that I had to go through the select board in order to purchase them. It was $135, and I just want to know if there's a way that I can get refunded for those chair covers. That's all. She said I had to go through for $135, and I was like, seriously?
You already did it, Pat?
Huh?
You already purchased them?
I bought them, yes. And if you can't pay me for
See
them,
how,
then...
see how you put pressure on us?
Well, I don't
You
put...
buy them and then you ask for them.
So I don't put pressure on you, so I got 2 big events coming up here where I need more than 100 chair covers, and I don't have them.
Are they match the other ones?
Yes, they're identical, yes. So, and there's, you know, a bunch of torn ones that are coming up, and plus I'm taking the ones that I'm using and washing them and doing that also, so. That was just my quick question.
What do you guys feel about the chair covers?
Budget.
We gotta look at the budget?
Yeah, we gotta see all the revenue.
We'll have to get back to you on that. Let me look at it, because we have to check the budget and so there, but it's $135?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can get you a receipt too.
There is
Give the
a
receipt.
requisition form, there's a requisition form to fill out for anything that you want to have paid from the town hall, so there, you can get one from,
Katie and Mary?
yeah, Katie can get it for you, but it's on the website as well, but you should, just you list the expenses and you put the receipts on the back of it and you turn it in, just provides a paper trail for our auditors.
Yep.
If we're going to pay you. If we don't pay you, then you'll get it back.
If you don't pay me, then it's a donation that I made to
Right.
them all again.
Right. But
thank
you
you
could get
for coming.
started with that by organizing your receipts on the back of that.
And I don't know if Sharon's got in touch with you, with the committee is for a list of things that they were going to ask you for, you know, like the snow rake and the electric outside. She generated a big list of stuff and.
She was given a form for CIP for the capital improvement thing to fill out, and I'm sure that's on there.
And Joe has solicited quotes for the snow breaks.
Yeah, for that stuff and the electric and stuff, yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Rick.
Well, just let me know.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Appreciate it.
Have a great night.
You too.
Just have a quick non-public.
Make a motion to go into non-public.
All in favor?
I'll second it, but under what?
So I've just drawn a blank. What, somebody else have a non-public they want to do? I don't.
Well, I did want to, before you get into that, I went to say something, and you said he was giving the administrator update.
I'm
And
done
he
with
had
that.
stopped me. I just wanted to give you an update on the phone call I got from Joe, the chief of police,
Yeah.
about the school this morning, what happened.
Oh, yeah, we heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got it all.
All right, or Alan and I.
All right, so we're gonna give it till Friday. I'm gonna go meet with Joe tomorrow in the morning because, well, not in the morning, I gotta sign that paper for the radar, right? So I'm gonna sign that grant. And then he's gonna tell me, his first opinion was opening day, everybody drives their kids to school, it should wean down. I don't see it. I think we're gonna have an issue that we're gonna have to, so my question was, where does the select board step in? Isn't this the school, the superintendent, and maybe you? And then if you guys can't come to a decision of making changes, because it is a safety issue, so I think it will end up on our lap.
I would hope that one of the things they'd look at is adjusting the opening times for the two schools, because that's another way of
Adjusting
managing
the
the traffic.
times.
Adjusting the opening times. Now, it may not be convenient for them, but
They are adjusted.
if you've got
From high
people,
school to Mount Caesar.
Yeah.
But he's thinking Mount Caesar, first through third to sixth, unalternating starting
I'm not
time.
sure how that
That
works.
would change the whole day for the teachers, that would change a lot.
Yes, it would change a
There would
lot
be
for the
lot of work to
administrators and
do.
all that. But that's one way of doing it, is to look at your populations and decide, maybe the junior high comes in a different time than the high school, whatever.
But we won't discuss it until it's put on our lap, but I was just giving you a heads up, there was a situation there, so you're all aware of it. The
Yep.
traffic was back down 32,
Oh, yeah.
past your house, I think, and all the way up over the bridge and up that way. So,
It was backed up.
yeah,
I'm all set.
okay.
I'm all set.
You don't have to do it.
No,
Oh,
What happened?
he's
totally
good.
spaced it.
All
You
right.
solved it?
I should have written it down.
Do you honestly spaced it?
I did.
Really?
We'll pick
I'll
it
give
up
you
on
those
the-
memory pills that I bought.
Yeah.
The problem is I forgot where I put them.
I knew they're not gluten-free. Make a motion to adjourn then.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, wait a minute, Bill just thought of it.